everything, everything, everything I touch will break. And every day, every day, every day you give and I take. I'm living the best that I can, but fate never followed my plans. I'm holding you back, so I want you to pack up and grow. Oh, 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 oh.
Beautiful out there. So what we're going to do is, I was going to address the issue with fear. Now, fear is one of those things that we all get. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. We've all feared at some point in our life. Like with myself. These are demons that you have to face. Fear is normally driven by somebody else. It might be in a relationship. Fear of losing your other half. Or it might be in a bad relationship. Fear of getting slapped. Or it might be maybe something simple, but we fear it. We fear our mums, we fear our dads, we fear lots of things. But we don't fear them for the reason that some of them will hurt us. We're feared for the reasons that they could be ashamed of us or not happy with us. But realistically speaking, you're perceiving it in perhaps a different way than you should be. Well, if it was your mum or your dad's, well, have forgiven everything you've ever done. So why should that change? You think what you did was so bad that you can't tell them. But you have to remember, self-preservation relies on you telling other people how you feel. Now, for instance, if you're in a bad relationship, if there's a problem with something, if you keep it to yourself, that can only generate fear in who you are. Because when you keep it to yourself, it means you're afraid to tell somebody. But that's your fault. That's not somebody else's fault, that's your fault. So that fear shouldn't exist. You could be fearing the consequences of saying something. Well, if you're thinking it has to pass the test. If someone gives you a rumour or tells you something, you fear it being true. But it has to pass the Socrates test. And the Socrates test is quite simple. Truth, goodness, or benefit. First one is, do I know what you're saying to be true? And you ask them, do you know what you're saying to be true? If they say no, well, it's a rumour. Fear over. It's a rumour. If it fails to contain goodness, they're telling you all bad things about somebody. Well, that's not good either, is it? Because when you look at it, that wouldn't work at all, because it hasn't got any goodness in it. So it means it's spread maliciously. Okay, well, let's try benefit. Is what you're going to tell me going to benefit me in my life? Well, if they're going to tell you your husband's having an affair, or your son beats someone up, then it's not going to have any benefit to you, is it? So, this is where the fears start from. They're little tiny things to start with. And then that fear becomes a bigger fear, which becomes a bigger fear, and a bigger fear, and next thing you know, you're stuck with all of these fears inside you, fears that you don't need. If you have a problem in a relationship, you should sit down. Fear or not, you should sit down and say, this is my point of view. And then they give you their point of view. If they start to get angry or upset, you say to them, if you're getting angry and upset, I'm not. So why would you be getting angry and upset? You've always asked me to be open and honest with you. I'm trying to be open and honest with you. I'm being met with hostilities. The very thing you asked me to do, I'm doing, and I'm being condemned for doing it. Then they understand, hang on a minute, whoa, that's right. but you've already won the first battle. Because first of all, you mustn't get mad. Because when you get mad, you're not nice. And if you're nice, it's harder for somebody to upset somebody that's nice. So if you've got, hypothetically, you've got, say, lots of people having a go at you one time. Well, that's not because you're bad. That means because you're too strong for them to come at you one by one. Why would you be afraid? It's them that should be, well, they are afraid because they're coming at you with drones. So fear doesn't apply there either, does it? You know, logic says logic is. And so fear, how can we combat it? Well, fear is easy. When you feel yourself getting upset or afraid or nervous, before you say, before you do, before you act, close your eyes, take a deep breath in through your nose, and slowly blow out through your mouth before you act. Just try it. Ready? You don't feel so angry. You don't feel so upset. You don't feel as bad as what you did before you took the bath. And if the first one doesn't work, take another one. Hey, you're in no rush. You're in no rush to go and cause your life a hell of a lot of problems, are you? Take a deep breath. And then keep taking a deep breath. Not till you faint, but keep taking a deep breath till you feel more relaxed. But the deep breaths work as a secondary entity as well. Because when you have all that negative energy in you and you want to express it, well, there's a technique that I use that I find it very useful. And what I do is, if I've got an image or a bad memory in my mind, as I take the deep breath, in my mind I put this eraser on the screen of this picture. And the deep breath, if you take a deep enough, in the time you've got to rub every bit of that picture out, every single bit of it out. Now, if you run out of holding your breath by the time you've sucked it in and you haven't done the picture, if you do it quickly a second time, then you'll erase the picture. Now you've got to make sure every little bit of that's gone, because even the microscopic amounts will come back and haunt you. So don't have that. So you do it again quickly afterwards. And then once the picture's gone, when you breathe out, you can feel the negative energies of that picture just coming out of you. Just disappearing. You no longer fear it. You don't fear it because you put this section in your mind that says, dealt with. It's as simple as that. Dealt with. You can struggle all you like, but if you use that exercise, you'll find that your life will start to turn round quite nicely. It'll bring you more at peace with who you are. Then when you come up against another problem, you find, right, okay, I've got to go and talk to him about this. You'll take the deep breaths in all the negative energies. Remember the Socrates test. Is it true? Is it contain goodness? Will it benefit me? If it can't pass that, you don't believe it. If you see it with your own eyes, hear it with your own ears, you can't get away from that. That's not the Socrates test. You know it to be true. So when someone tells you something, no matter how close they are to you, when someone tells you something, say the Socrates test. Did you see it with your own eyes, and do you know it to be true? And if they say yes, it's passed the first test. If they say, does it contain goodness? And they say yes, it passes the second, because the person that's telling you is only spreading good news to you, not bad news. You don't want to hear someone else's bad news. Let them get on with it. It's their bad news, not yours. So then you go to the benefit. Am I going to benefit from this information? Well, her telling you that it had goodness in it, of course you're going to benefit because you feel good for them. You're looking to their betterment. So fear doesn't come into that. So try and look at it a different way. When you fear something, only fear it because you can't face it. That means you're running away from it. That makes you a victim. If you're a victim, I'm sorry to say this, like I said, the universal knowledge will not work for you. You've got to look at it in a positive format, and the positive format is this. For you to get those energies out to show the world who you are, you need to get rid of those negative energies one step at a time, one little negative energy at a time. Get it on the positive energy side, poof, and then you start to fire up. Then you'll find your enemies will attack you, but they won't harm you. They can't harm you because you don't fear them. You understand them, you don't fear them. When you've got a bully in school, you only fear him because you don't understand him. But if he's a bully, he was taught to bully. You understand him, so you don't need to fear him. If someone's being nasty to you, well, that's because their energies are only sat at that level. I feel sorry for people like that. I try to help people like that. And so should you. It's not always about us. Although self-preservation is a key element, sometimes by giving something, it heals something inside of us. And I think that's important to everyone. And although I preach about yourself and things like that, there's always a healing point. People that have been hurt the most usually help the most. The deeper the emotional wound, the more emotionally they'll help other people. And they'll suffer. People like you suffer. Because you want so much for everyone to be happy because you weren't. That's fear. You need to get rid of that. You want to say to yourself, I can give more if I'm happier. And if you're happier, the world's going to always be happier. And so fear, work on it bit by bit. Don't try and overcome your big hurdles first. Nice and slow. Remember what I said about the levels. Nice and slow. And just take the small battles one at a time. So basically, if you've got an argument with your mother-in-law, pick up the phone and say, hello mother-in-law, how are you, sweetheart? And then, oh, come on, it's a nice day out there. Think of something nice to talk to her about. Drop the ammunition. If she doesn't like you, find out why she doesn't like you. Understand her. If it's an enemy, understand your enemy. Don't fear him. Understand him. Once you understand him, then you don't fear him. He might fear you. Well, he will fear you, but, understand him. By understanding what creates the fear, you understand how to fix the fear. And like I said, small battles. Just small battles at a time. Don't get too greedy, guys. You know what it's like. Hey. But small battles. I take mine are a little bit bigger, but hey, I take them in my stride. Do I fear them? No, not at all. The reason being is I understand them. I understand why you don't get your promotion in work. It's because you're afraid of pushing away other people, which is rightly so. But we've been pit against each other, and it's a fear. And once you pit against each other, well, there's got to be a winner and there's got to be a loser. I'd rather not be either. I'd rather not fear any of them, and I get what I get, and I achieve what I achieve. Hopefully I achieve a lot, but that's down to my personal perspective, like yours. Are you a good person? The answer is yes. Then you just got to show the world. Not doing people favours and tying up your time isn't showing the world. Section it out. Stop the fears. So if you are afraid of upsetting your husband, your wife, you say to them, well, excuse me, you say to them, I'm sorry, sweetheart, I didn't realise. Why didn't you change to suit them? Well, don't get me wrong, if it was insane, or if they wanted you to do something stupid, then no. Because you've got to balance it up with your moral fibre. And I think that for me, that would be important. So hopefully this time, this one's helped you along a bit more. I'm going to try and put it into more of a program for people to look at, so you can watch it bit by bit by bit by bit and get it that way. But anyway, you guys, have a lovely day, and from here in the UK, thanks for watching. Bye.
Everything, everything, everything you've done is great. But your back has been feeling exhausted from all of the weight. I'll carry this burden myself. Just put me up high on a shelf. Think of me fondly